Hey everyone, Pupsker here, and today we are going over the best Warframes of 2022. That's right, we are having a Warframe 2022 tier list to end all tier lists. Ignore every other tier list. Clearly, this is the only one that matters, when in actuality, tier lists for a PvE type Warframe game are truly just a meme, so don't worry about any of it too much. Tier lists in a game like Warframe are cool and all, but at the end of the day, they're 100% up to personal opinion, how much someone plays and is familiar with certain Warframes, and if you don't agree with something, that's fine. Any Warframe can 100% be playable and be fun in most, if not every scenario, and can, be at least playable in every scenario, as long as you mod it for survivability. But hey, I would say that the main thing about a tier list in Warframe is a lot of Warframes are good at one or two things and then excel at one specific thing. Some excel at more things, which just would make them more usable and more versatile, generally putting them higher on the tier list. But we'll have to take a look. If you agree with what I say, let me know why. If you disagree, let me know why. Subscribe if you like the video, like and comment down below. But at the end of the day, I do not have 100+ hours of insane playtime of every Warframe with all of their augment mods at all. So think of this as the best meme tier list of 2022. So without further ado, let's get started. Since I do own every Warframe, we're going to sort by name and go last to first. That's right, starting off with Zephyr Prime. So I would actually rate Zephyr Prime pretty highly. At this point, Zephyr's abilities are really good at keeping him in the air, doing a lot of crit damage, throwing tornadoes around. And I should probably mention, with the addition of the helmet system and everything like that to Warframe, every Warframe is even more usable than before, because now you can equip things like Eclipse and Gloom on anything. So again, keep that in mind. I'll just be talking about frames. I barely know any of augment mods anyways. So Zephyr, fucking great. I'm gonna give Zephyr an S tier. That's right, fuck everyone. Zephyr is ridiculously OP, right? Insane crit damage in the air, reduced damage in the air. There are so many great mods for him. He just flies around, kills everything airborne, can run around, and he literally will just never die, right? Like, come on, look at Turbulence. This is just shenanigans. And then with Tornado, you have tornadoes around the map that can stay stationary or go around, just killing everything. So fuck it. Zephyr's S tier. If you love to play him, that's great, but he just has so much damage and shenanigans around him. I love him in that regard, so fuck you. First Warframe, we're doing Zephyr. We're making him S tier, okay? Like it or not, this is how we're starting it off, so fight me. The next Warframe is Yareli. Oh yes, ya girl, Yareli. The 2021 most hated Warframe ever made. Yeah, she got Sea Snares, she's got Marlena, she has Aqua Blades, and she has Riptide. I will give Yareli a clean F tier. I think literally everyone would expect this if they've seen my other videos. Sea Snares is possibly her only ability that I think is kinda cool. All of her other abilities fucking suck. I hate having a K-Drive that damages, has some damage reduction, but all in all is very wonky, annoying, and sucks in most map tiles. Aqua Blades that require you to get close enough to enemies that already kind of suck and don't do enough damage. Riptide, which, can be decent enough, to be fair, if you want to build just for this. I just don't find that at all fun. Every Warframe generally has abilities that can kill everything in one hit, but spamming Riptide, I don't care about. Sea Snares, I only like him because of that sweet, sweet duration that they stun the enemies. But I hate Yareli so much. This is just a grudge I have against her, but hey, at least Riptide will do damage if you want to build towards that. Look at that radius, 21 meters. Wow. So yeah, build towards that if you want. I hate Yareli. Even her passive makes me not care about her. Crit chance on Marlena, right? Get it out of here. Get out of my face, Yareli. We have Xaku, a Warframe that, as you can see, I literally never play. ever in the history of Warframe. But Xaku, all in all, is actually pretty cool, right? He does void damage. He has multiple abilities on his third. Where's the the guns? Oh, hell yeah. The guns on his one ability, just pull them all together. I don't care about Xaku. I don't really use him too much, but I mean, he's pretty cool all in all. I can't see him being ridiculously good and useful with how his abilities work, so I'm gonna throw him in the C tier. Of course, with void damage and with Warframe, you can always have something ridiculously good if you want, but Xaku for me would definitely be a C tier Warframe. I've played him enough before. I know his abilities can, you know, do decent enough damage, and I like just pulling a bunch of guns towards me, but not anymore, man. I do not care about him at this point. So get C-tiered Loki, or sorry, Xaku, but you are gone. Next we have your boy Wukong Prime. Okay, so Wukong's one of those Warframes that's just ridiculously great in every way. Has a built-in Umbral Warframe on his first ability that does a hell of a lot of damage. Has an ability that makes him invincible, heals, goes around fast, stuns, right? Has straight up invincibility, damage, and armor multiplication on this one. Like, holy hell. Primal Fury is his worst ability, hilariously enough. And his passive is that he has 3 extra lives. So Wukong, I'm gonna throw him down as an S tier frame for most people, right? He is just great at everything because of how his kit is. He has built-in stealth and speed on Cloudwalker because he just stuns people. He has a literal Umbral Warframe as one of his abilities, right? The entire gimmick of Excalibur Umbra is just a worse version of Wukong's first ability, because this has health and damage boost on it. So yeah, he's just great. And with the survivability on his like passive, and with Defy giving him so much armor, so much damage if you need to, he can just kill everything. Like, I've never built for Defy, but as you can see, since it has such a huge damage multiplier, Defy can be built to do just such insane amounts of damage. So Wukong, S tier, okay? 10 out of 10. I love your boy. He's great. Everyone loves your boy, the Monkey King, okay? It's no shock. You really shouldn't be too surprised on this one, okay? He's great. 10 out of 10. I love him, okay? Love him without a doubt. The next frame. Oh, the next frame we got is Wisp. So, Wisp is an amazing, if not one of the best support frames in the game. Her reservoirs give health, give status shock, right? Give fire rate and speed. Sorry, the haste mode, right? Just ridiculously great. Will-O-Wisp is also great. Breach Surge, Will-O-Wisp, it all works so well together. Her Soul Gate is hilariously enough her worst ability, but I still love it. Her passive is pretty great because she's just invisible midair, so have fun with that. All in all, I would say that Wisp is amazing. I would say she's just, I mean, you could go straight up with S tier, but I would say she's A tier in my books, right? The only issue she kind of has is that you might not care to cast Breach Surge. I really don't care to ever cast it. You never have damage issues with her, though. I just love her with all my heart, but I'm just gonna throw her as an A tier frame. She's clearly S tier probably for most people, but since her Soul Gate is pretty much just a meme, I'm just gonna throw that on her. But all in all, her kit is really sick. I don't care about Will-O-Wisp, but Will-O-Wisp, I believe, like, shoots out her Breach Surge. I think it's on one of her tips, so that's why it's a lot better. If I didn't hate Will-O-Wisp as much, I probably, let's be real here, would give her an S tier, but I just fucking do not care about Will-O-Wisp, and I'm sad about Soulgate. But god damn it, Wisp is great. I would recommend everyone get her because she's an amazing frame. The next frame we have, oh yeah, it's your boy Volt. So Volt is a really good frame that you can get, instantly? Isn't he start one of the starter frames, I think? But you can get him pretty early on in the game, all in all, to my knowledge. He is a great frame. My issue with him is he has a lot of abilities that I just don't care about. Don't care about Shock. I don't care about Discharge unless I specifically build for discharge, I mainly care about the third and the second ability, right? That's obviously not taking into account augment mods, but oh my god, I love Volt. I would give Volt a solid A tier again, okay? Because he's great at one tier of damage with electric shield. He can do so much added damage with speed. His discharge is decent enough. Augment mods are later on thing. You know what? Nah. I would give an B tier. Sorry. He's just not versatile enough with his starting kit to get A. My bad. Definitely would give him B. Okay, I had to rethink that one. That one really messed with my mind. But he is really useful and really great, right? With his speed and his electric shield, with like the fact that you can take this with you at least, make him pretty fun. His shock is good later on. His discharge is great if you want to build for it, but again, it always depends what you want to build for. I'll give him a solid B. He is a great Eidolon hunter, but I don't really give a shit about Eidolons, so that doesn't really help my opinion on that. So yeah, clap, Volt. You're a great frame, but RIP. Next, you have the train. You got your boy Vauban. I have barely played Vauban this year. His abilities, all in all though, are pretty interesting. A lot of them I just don't care about, right? The first ability, the Tesla Nervos, right? I don't care about these, but they're really cute and adorable, but I don't care about them. It's mainly on, I think it's his, is it Photon Strike? No, or is it his Bastille? It's mainly, I think, his Bastille pulling everyone in and his great ability there that I like using him for, but it's just been so long. Trainman is without a doubt a great Warframe though. Don't get me wrong, he does have a large variety of abilities, right? You got Bastille Vortex on his fourth. This one you swap around to a ton of different mods, or I should say items that you can use. I mainly throw around either the Tether Coil or the Fletched Orbs, but I mean, you can always throw down anything you want. Overdriver's really good. He is just a great frame, but I would throw him overall, again, probably in the B category, okay? He's a great frame and he does a lot of damage, but I just don't care about him too much. And most of his damage is based on just weapons he'll have equipped and pretty much debuffs that he's going to have and buffs that he's going to have on his abilities. I don't like to think that his abilities just do a ton of damage outright, especially for higher level enemies, but hey, I've always done the thing where I've thrown around like a lot of Fletched Orbs or Tether Coils and just killed things that way, but there's a lot of ways you can truly play him, but I would just throw your boy Vauban as like a B tier, maybe even C tier frame if you want, but yeah, I'd give him B tier just because he does still have a lot of usability and usefulness in the current gameplay style, right? So all in all, he's still great, don't get me wrong, okay? Next, we have Valkyr Prime. So Valkyr is one of those weird frames that in theory, like, she's great, right? But in practice, like, I just do not give a shit about her. She's like full on a melee frame in theory, right? Ripline, absolutely useless, okay? Like, no one cares about this. It's just a literal zipline. You don't need that in Warframe, so that's cool. Warcry is her bread and butter IMO, the thing you like most about her, and I think this might also be her Helmet ability, which reduces her overall usability. So Paralysis, you do have a big damage multiplier and knockback, but the amount that you use this, it's a decent amount because it drains like nothing, right? So yeah, have fun with that. And then finally Hysteria, where you go into pure melee claw mode. I just don't find it useful enough because she just has a built-in cool melee. If you don't care about her melee too much, then she's just pretty much a regular Warframe with a buff, and like, it's a good buff, don't get me wrong, but she's a pretty regular Warframe with a buff and with a debuff for the enemy. So she overall is really good, don't get me wrong, and she can do a ton of damage. I would throw her as a C tier though, just cause like she's not really special to anyone, right? Valkyr at this point is just a pretty cool fast melee frame, and that's kind of about it. Replace Ripline with Gloom or any other Helminth ability if you can, and she'll do a lot of damage, but I mean, she's not really necessary. Her kit's cool, but it's nothing unique or special or different in any way. I like it, she's cool, but after I played her for a day, I just didn't care about her. But don't get me wrong, she does a lot of damage. I'll throw her in the C tier, but hey, if you want to go do a lot of melee damage and kill stuff, go play Valkyr. She's pretty cool like that, right? So then we got your girl Trinity. So Trinity is historically a great support frame, right? Restores health, shield, energy. She does everything, right? Blessings, amazing. Link, very useful because it channels damage to nearby enemies. Her second ability, Energy Vampire. What a shock. Getting everyone energy is amazing, okay? Nobody's ever mad at that. And then Well of Life, which just straight up heals and does damage, right? She is a great support Warframe. And if support Warframes like her were super necessary, I would probably give her an S tier. But at this point, she used to be a lot better. But at this point, Trinity is just like a comfort frame. Nobody needs a Trinity. Solo, you don't need Trinity. She's fucking great, don't get me wrong. But, I mean, nobody needs a Trinity anymore, man. Warframe is a horde shooter where just like everything's so good, where half of your kit is based around healing people, reducing damage, and then increasing their like shields, health, and energy. All of my frames can just do that by existing. So I'm gonna give Trinity at this point, I'm gonna give her a B tier. The reason I'm giving her a B tier, I probably used to, again, give her an S or an A tier, but like, I just don't give a shit about her anymore. You just don't need to use her half the time or ever in the game. She's great for certain type of fighting styles or gameplay styles. You can always have your niche teams, but a pure support frame like Trinity just doesn't fucking matter these days in Warframe, right? You just don't need that much support on a frame. It's definitely overkill, and she just seems like, you know, it'd be cool if she had a better direct type damage ability that wasn't Link or her like Energy Vampire, Well of Life type things, because those don't really do damage. They're all just there for support, so that's why. So pure support frame, I'm dumping it down because Warframe just straight up does not need that shit. Trinity's great, just not required in anything really. Of course, if people always want to do speedrunning type things for Tridolons and whatnot, maybe she's required, but it's not a thing I would know too much about. So Trinity used to be a lot better, but these days in my eyes, she's just not necessary. Her abilities, still fucking great though, it's not necessary. So now you have your girl Titania. I never play Titania because I hate Titania. All in all, her kit is good, don't get me wrong. Just has so much usability, and her always flying around, all of the mods, the AoE razor flies that just kill everything. She is really good, okay? I just don't care about her at all. I'm gonna throw her, okay? Mad or not, I'm gonna throw her in an A tier. Because Titania Prime is fucking sick if you like her kit and if you're into that, right? She's so hard to kill, does a ton of damage. She's a built-in Arcwing and has a lot of abilities with a lot of use. And again, all of the damage. So, hey, we'll give her a little A tier, right? Just a little A tier. If you can't tell, all of these listings are off the top of my head, right? Because this is a proper tier list to end all tier lists. We don't spend hours thinking about a tier list, we just go at it. So, yep, rip Titania Prime, but she is really good. I just don't use her. We haven't come across a Warframe that I absolutely hate yet, other than Yareli though, so there haven't been a lot of low tier frames, but that should be expected in a game like Warframe, because in my mind, it's hard to get like a D or an F tier Warframe, because every Warframe can usually be pretty good. The usual D or F tier Warframes that I'm going to put there are ones that I find absolutely atrocious to play, disgusting kit, and the ones just honestly that make people sad. But we have a lot of kit time, whatever, left to go. So, Sevagoth, right? He has Reap, he has Sow, he has Gloom, and he has his Exalted Shadow. So he is just already amazing because of his Gloom. One of the best abilities, I would say, out of anything that can go on the helmet, and most people would agree as well. He is hard to kill, he has an Exalted Shadow, and honestly, pretty fun all in all. I don't think he's ridiculously OP, but he is a very fun Warframe, so I will throw him in the B tier, okay? He does require a lot of Forma. He is a fun frame, but so much Forma because you have an Exalted Shadow, Exalted Blades on the Shadow, you have him himself, and then a lot of his abilities like Sow and Reap I don't care about, but they work good together. So they've clearly put time and thought into his kit, right? It merges and meshes well together. So I wouldn't want to take off anything on his kit for the Hellman system because of how it meshes together, but I just give him a B. He's a fun frame, but I don't care about him too much, right? And Gloom, I actually do not give a shit about Gloom. Haven't even put it on my helmet. I know people just have huge boners for Gloom. It's either always like Gloom or Eclipse, right? Those are the two great helmet abilities for just damage. Gloom, lifesteal, AoE slow, great stuff. So, Saryn Prime. Saryn Prime has one use and one use only, and that is just murder. Her only use is map clear and killing, and she does it very well. Her spores, Toxic Lash, and Miasma make her just the corrosive, toxic, viral Warframe that can kill everything very easily. So that's literally all she does. She just fucking does damage and kills stuff, and she does it very well. Her issue is that she has no good survivability, only really on Molt, and even then, I don't think Molt is that good, and I don't like it. Of course, because this is Warframe, you have Rolling Guard and Adaptation, so you don't really need it, but she's a really useful, good frame, and you can always replace Molt with something from the helmet, right, to make her better. But all in all, her kit is great. When you do use Molt, right, it still does take away fire, so you can, you know, use other abilities and try to run away and maybe shield gate better, so she's great, okay? Saryn has always been great, and probably always will be great. I wouldn't put her as an S tier because she's only really good at one thing, and that is map clearing of just basic normal enemies, so survival, stuff like that. She'll always be good at that, but other than that, she just is whatever. So I will honestly give her an A tier, right? S tier's cool, but doesn't belong for Saryn. I love her, I love my girl, but she's not good enough to stay there, okay? Not good enough. Oh god, you got your boy, Rhino Prime. Rhino is a great Warframe, okay? Very good beginner Warframe to get an understanding of the game, right? You have your Rhino charge to push people through. You have invincibility pretty much with your Iron Skin if you pay enough attention. Increased just buffs with Roar. And then you have your Rhino Stomp for just AoE stuns, pretty much slows if you, oh no, it's technically what, a slow stasis? I don't know. So he's great, don't get me wrong. It's just, he's a very basic frame. So I'm going to put Rhino in the C category. So the reason I'm putting Rhino in C is I would say a C category in Warframe is like, they're good or just usable, right? Rhino is just that. He's good and he's usable for everything in the game, but his kit is just so basic and unimpressive. He just has AoE buff, he has more armor, he has a basic AoE stun stasis, and he has his charge. His passive is cool too, you know, but it's pretty useless. So Rhino, I feel like he suffers just from being a very early on basic Warframe. He's very good, you can use him everywhere in the game, he's just basic and boring as fuck. So he's a great Warframe, you can use him for everything, for bossing, for whatever you want. But I would just throw him as a C tier Warframe at this point. He's great for everything, but he's a very unimpressively, boringly so at everything, right? So that's my opinion on Rhino. I've played Rhino a lot. You've seen me probably play Rhino a lot, but Yeah, don't care about him there. Oh, Revenant. Revenant. I'm the type of man that only uses Revenant for his Mesmer skin. This makes it so that you'll never die, right? You just don't take damage, you stun enemies around you. Amazing. You can enthrall them if you're paying attention and want to actually do things properly. I straight up don't care about Reeve, but it is a very good ability. It's just kind of useless because you have Mesmer skin. And when you don't take damage, there's no reason to have health drain or shield drain. So my issue with Revenant is that like his kit's just kind of goofy, right? It doesn't mesh too well together, right? Because if you're building for Mesmer skin and Enthrall, you're pretty much building for those because they work off each other. You want strength and you want duration, right? And other than that, nothing's needed. If you want to go for your like fourth ability, you'd want more range on that, right? You'd want like range, damage, efficiency, duration. You'd want a little bit of everything. And with Reeve, well, same with Reeve. So I don't know. Revenant is a very good invincible Warframe. I just don't like or do not give a fuck about his kit other than Mesmer skin. I don't care about how his kit like works together. I don't think it works really well together either. So I'm gonna give Revenant a C as well. He's really good at not dying and he's invincible, so you can just run him in Steel Path. I just think all in all his kit's pretty fucking lame, pretty boring, and I don't like how it meshes together. Because I would only ever want to build like for my fourth ability or for my invincibility on my second ability. And then Reeve just kind of is there. So, I don't know, like the existence of Reeve kind of counteracts the entire existence of Mesmer skin. So, I don't know, man. It really fucks with me. I don't understand why you'd care about that. Yeah, it just really messes with my head. So, get C-tiered, Revenant. You're still great. I love you, but yeah, get fucked. And again, we're not bringing up augment mods. Get that shit out of here. Oh, Protea. Protea. So her first ability, Grenade Fan, is great. Her second ability, Blaze Artillery, is also great. Her third ability, Dispensary, is great. You have a support, you have a damage, and you have a damage and a support ability on her first one. Her final ability is her least useful ability, and you know, it like puts you in a time stasis. If you die, you go back in time, you get knocked back, you end up dying anyways, or you activate it yourself, you go back in time. Yeah, it's not a great and useful ability. All in all, I love Protea for all of her abilities other than her fourth one, because I threw Eclipse over that, because like I just don't care about the whole time stasis thing. Protea is a fun, good Warframe, but she's by no means, okay, a perfect Warframe, dear God. People would probably expect me, since I fucking love her and like no-life her so much, to give her an S tier, but let's be honest here, I think I'm gonna give Protea a B tier. She has a good kit, I like her kit, and she does good damage, good support, and good utility all around. But she doesn't do anything through the roof, and honestly, she's just not amazing. She has no like armor shred or anything. She just has base good heat damage on her second ability, good damage and shield on her first ability. It's more for the shield, let's be real, and the dispensary is just great. So yeah, no, I'd give her B tier. I love her. She's my favorite frame for a while. Just don't care too much about giving her a high score because she doesn't really deserve it. Okay. Next we have your girl Octavia. So Octavia gets an S tier. I'm gonna just throw it out there right now. The way Octavia works is she can just go and kill everything and be invisible the entire time without really having to do much. Warframe gave her a stupidly strong kit. She's just great at that, so I'm just gonna fucking give her an S tier because of it, right? You have this thing that has a charm built in, so even the fact that you have your third ability, which gives you multi-shot, melee damage, speed, you can also go invisible. She just does a little bit of everything, and she's just so ridiculously strong. There's a billion ways you can try to build her if you want. Generally, I would just like be bored. I give her just range, and that's That's about it, range duration, but she can be built any number of ways, right? And you can just do whatever you want. She's just good at everything, right? Octavia is stupid, you don't need mods, and you can do like easily steal path with her. So yeah, she's just a little too good in that regard. So she without a doubt gets an S tier. God damn it, Octavia, why are you so good? Why are you so good? I love Oberon, right? Oberon's a great Warframe, but I feel like Oberon at this point has also suffered from similar things that Rhino has suffered from. And that is a lot of his kit just seems like kind of redundant at this point. So his first smite ability, you just don't really care about that one too much. It's not the most important one, but hey, anything that can give status is cool here and there. Hallowed Ground is just the thing that you have around always, right? Just an AoE like ground damage ability. All in all, pretty fucking weak though, so it's only really good for throwing on radiation status, which is actually good. His third ability is really nice, okay? It's just a good AoE heal, bleed out slow, gives armor. He's a good, like, decent enough tanky, healy support frame, right? You can't be mad at that. And then his fourth ability, which is actually nice enough because it does have armor reduction and it does do radiation damage. And it even has health orb drop for people who die. So, well, 50%, right? All in all, not bad. But I feel like his kit, again, just suffers from the issue of being out of date, boring, and all in all lackluster. I'll give Oberon a C. He is by no means a bad Warframe. He's easily usable in every level of the game. But his kit just seems outdated at this point, right? You have your passive AoE heal, Smite, which you just fucking sucks, right? You have Hallowed Ground, which is always on, and then Reckoning, which really you'll only end up using, I would say, for the armor reduction late game or something, but you don't really even need to use Reckoning that much with Harrow, or Oberon, so, I mean, he's cool, but he gets a C. Love you, Oberon, but meh. Oh, Nyx Prime, a Warframe that I just literally never use. I never liked her kit, not one bit. I'm straight up going straight for that D tier. Fucking hate Nyx. Her entire, like, shtick is really boring, right? Because a lot of it is mind control. Yay! I just don't care about her shtick at all. The psychic bolts are boring, but I guess they have armor strip, so or defense reduction. It's not even straight up armor strip, it's just defense reduction, so that's probably her most useful ability. Her fourth ability sucks and it's boring, but I mean, you're not gonna die. But like, who uses her fourth ability like this? So yeah, awful. Chaos is a good ability, but I mean, it's just lame. I hate Nyx, sorry. Her kit's definitely usable, but I don't find it fun or anything. Yeah, enemies are 20% less accurate when targeting Nyx Prime. This is probably because A, she's one of the earlier frames as well, and B, her kit is just all in all not fun, not that active, and it relies a lot upon just having the enemies do everything for you, while they just kinda are stupid idiots going around and dicking around shooting the enemies. So I don't like her kit, I don't like her abilities. Still usable and still fun if you like her, of course, but get thrown on a D tier, Nyx, okay? Get that shit out of here. She's probably one of those underrated Warframes in that regard, but I hate her. Oh god, Nova Prime. Or Nova, right? So, I'm not a huge Nova player, guys. I know, it's hard to understand. I would just straight up say Nova's a C tier frame. She's not a bad frame. It's just the way her abilities work just kind of make me sad. Molecular Prime can be used to slow down or speed up enemies. The issue is, you never really want to use it to slow down enemies because Warframe doesn't work well when you're mass slowing down enemies in the map, right? Only if you're slowing down enemies kind of towards you. So it's only really useful as Speed Nova, and that's just to get enemies going to you faster. Her wormhole is fucking stupid. Her antimatter drop, ooh, also kind of fucking stupid. Her null star is actually cool, but that's the thing. It's not good enough. It's decent, but I just don't think Nullstar is good enough. And I don't like it a whole lot. So I just don't like her kit. What did I already give her like a B or something? Anyways, I would give Nova a C if I didn't already. Sorry. I would give her a C. She's good with speeding. Maybe even a D. Now, you know what? Fuck it. Let's give Nova a D. Yeah, get a D. You get the D. I hate her kit. I hate honestly all of her kit. Even like the Speed Nova thing is the only thing I care about with her. But even then, I just don't give a shit. So I hate all of her kit. So aggro. Sorry, Nova. You're getting hated on today, Nova. God, there is so many Warframes that we have to get through. Next is Nidus. Okay, Nidus. I love Nidus. He has a really good kit that meshes well together and makes sure that Nidus will pretty much never die. I'm gonna just straight up give Nidus an A tier. Okay? His kit is great. It's not perfect, but it is really good. If you use him properly, you're damn near invincible. The issue is he has no shields, and that's kind of a pain in the ass with Steel Path, purely because there's still so many enemies that you just end up getting your like health knocked down instantaneously. But the way Nidus works is you then just have to recover that health with your like virulence stacks, but then it ends up being like an endless loop sometimes. So I will give him an A tier. With the way Larva pulls everything together, you parasitic link someone, always have your fourth ability down, and then just keep your stacks maxed up with your virulence. He just is a really strong, good, well working together kit, right? I love him. So Nidus is A tier, but I'm not giving him S tier just because his gimmick of having virulence stacks and invulnerability around those stacks can just be a pain in the ass, right? The management and Steel Path high level content around getting slapped with Nidus can be a pain in the ass, but other than that, yeah, dude's a god. So 10 out of 10 would Nidus again. Next, you have Nezha Prime. Well, Nezha. So, Nezha is ridiculously good all in all. I know, you're like, wait, what? No, I would say Nezha's great. Fast boy, his first ability with Firewalker, very cool, very nice, useful. It's just like AoE speed and damage, nothing amazing. Blazing Chakram's great because that whole like huge increase in damage, right? I think like that's the main good part about it. Warding Halo means, hey, you're tanky as fuck now, so good job, you have a tank ability. So you straight up have great tanking, great damage, and oh, did I let you know that you can also AoE stun people with Nezha. So I love Nezha. Nezha's really good. I would say that the main abilities of usefulness are the 2 and the 3rd, but Firewalker for me is a huge useful utility ability. It does do a lot of explosion damage, to be fair, but I don't mainly use it for that. I will give Nezha Prime a B tier because that's where I feel like Nezha sits. You don't see a lot of people going hard on Nezha, and you don't see, no Nezhas. Generally, you see Nezhas around, but not too much. I like Nezha. Maybe even, no, we'll give him a B tier, okay? Go on, Nezha. You live your life. You live your life. Next, we have Nekros. So, the thing about Nekros is I don't like Nekros at all. So the only thing I find useful for Nekros is Desecrate. The only thing I ever see anyone build him up for is Desecrate. You can technically do weird builds with anything, but all in all, his kit just kind of sucks. He has, the fear on this and armor reduction's good, right? But armor reduction on this is better on other frames. Fear is kind of annoying because enemies just run everywhere. I just don't care about Nekros. I'm gonna give Nekros a D tier. He's a fucking stupid frame, and I honestly hate his kit. The only thing he is good for is Desecrate, and that is not a fun Warframe, right? He is a Desecrate loot box frame, and that is all he will ever be, and I feel kind of bad for Nekros. Of course, you can always build around his other shitty abilities if you want, but no, Nekros is only really good for, at this point, Desecrate loot frame for all of that extra loot. And in my opinion, I think that makes him a shitty Warframe. Of course, other people who actually play him a lot will probably disagree, much with other Warframes that I will rate low because I don't play them a lot and I have a poor opinion on their kit. And that's okay, but Desecrate for life, I don't think that makes him a fun frame. RIP. So if you have better, or, you know, other opinions on Nekros, go for it, go for it. Next you have Mirage. So Mirage is a great frame. I would rate her, honestly, at this point, just fucking S tier. I will put Mirage in as an S tier. Her kit is just made to do a ton of damage, right? Her first ability just multiplies yourself 4 times, and then you do a ton of damage. Sleight of hand, again, tons of damage, and this can be used to nuke the map. Eclipse, holy hell, look at that damage and that damage reduction, right? Makes Mirage damn near invincible, or a damn near colossal unit to just kill everything. So, oh my god, is Eclipse amazing. And then Prism is probably her least useful, but very fun ability. So if anything, I would probably want to swap out Prism on the Helminth, because I would say it's her least useful ability unless you like specifically build for it. But it does have a blind, which is probably the most useful thing that it has. Either way, I would give her S tier purely because of her first 3 abilities. They just work so fucking well, she'll do so much damage, and she can nuke the map if she needs with her second ability, because look at that. My god. So, yeah, she's just a crazy Warframe that later on when you get augment mods, she's even more ridiculous, like every other Warframe in the game. Augment mods just make them, who would have guessed, more overpowered. So, same with Mirage. I love her. She's a great frame. 10 out of 10 would recommend. The next frame we have is Mesa. Oh, that's right. So, people love Mesa. She's really good. She is a aimbot built-in Warframe, and you know what that means? Yeah, that means that she'll kill everything. So with her entire kit, generally you don't want to swap out anything. I would just give her an A tier. I would give her an S tier, but I don't care about her kit and like her shtick too much, so I'm gonna give her an A tier. She does a lot of damage, okay? Don't get me wrong. She does the good damages. But she's just like meh in that regard. You just stand around and just shoot everything in one area. So it could always be a lot better, but with her kit being the way it is, she does a lot of damage. So I'm just gonna throw her as an A tier. Maybe even a B tier because of that, to be fair, but hey, it's up to you. I'll give her an A. Okay, you get an A, Mesa, this time. This time. Next we have is Mag. Oh god. So I don't care about Mag. Mag is one of those underrated Warframes, people would probably say, because she can do a lot of damage with, is it like polarize? No, it's like magnetize, right? That's yeah. You can do a fuck ton of damage with magnetize, right? The issue is her kit, other than I think with magnetize, most just kind of hate it. Like, I do not at all care about her kit whatsoever. So this is gonna be one of those weird ones where Mag can do a lot. Mag can do a lot of damage and multiply damage a lot, but her kit is still just kind of fucking boring. Like, I just don't care about her kit at all, right? In theory, pull sucks, crush sucks, right? Her whole thing is on her third and her second ability. But honestly, the pull on her ability, what is it, the radius of magnetize, it's just not enough for me to care about her. So yeah, I'm gonna give Mag a D tier. I think she suffers from like broken old Warframe mechanics, and she just like is too old school static based. She's great in like areas and maps probably where units converge on the defense point, but I don't think she's too useful. I hate her kit, and I've like played her a handful of times and just never really cared for her, so I will give her the D tier just to make people angry. But yeah, I don't care about Mag at all. Sorry about that, everyone. The next frame though we have is Loki Prime. Loki is also an original Warframe. I also don't really like his kit. So the only thing I care about on Loki is his second ability. It is a long-term stealth, and that is honestly the only thing that matters. He has a decoy, which is useless because you're stealthed. He has switch teleport, which is useless because you're stealthed. And he has a radial disarm, which is actually a really good ability and can be used if you want to be a good team player, but it is again useless because it is stealthed. So yeah, he's a good frame. I'm just gonna give him a C tier though. I don't care about Loki's kit. I just think it suffers from being old, boring, and pretty useless, right? You have 2 abilities which just straight up are useless. Passive is, yeah, like useless as well. His invisibility is good, but there's a ton of frames with invisibility and better things. And his radial disarm is good, but if you're building for radial disarm, you're probably not going to have a great invisibility build. I just hate his build. Think he's just kind of a basic early Warframe, and that's why he gets a low number. So I don't know if I gave him a D tier or a C tier. I think I should probably stick with a C, but I still want to give him a D. So maybe we'll end him with a D tier. I don't know. The rankings will all be probably put in the description below, and timestamps if you need, so don't worry about that. But Loki is just such a boring frame, so he can get out of my face, right? Oh, fuck me, no. Oh god, now we have your boy, Limbo Prime. Or Limbo. So, Limbo, I'm giving Limbo a straight up F tier, okay? You know why if you play or are aware of Limbo. His gimmick is his rift, right? He is in 2 separate dimensions. He can throw down his cataclysm and stealth, or sorry, not stealth, like stun people, I guess, in stasis. His kit is only good for defense, and it's just such a fucking bad kit that I hate him. His kit is used to troll people, and it affects everyone, and I just hate Limbo so much. So that's why I'm gonna give him an F tier. Even though he is very useful for defense type missions and objectives, dear god do I hate his kit and the fucking bullshit trolling that it has brought upon the years of Warframe at this point. I probably should have done the same with Loki before, but I don't know, whatever. Switch teleport could always be worse, I guess. Maybe that doesn't fuck with you too much. Either way, no, I don't like Limbo. Get him out of my face. Get an F, Limbo. You get an F. Get out of here. Oh dear god, Lavos. Lavos is a weird frame. I feel like he is a very experimental frame. They wanted to try to make a frame with cooldowns and with adaptive changing abilities. The issue is, his abilities don't do anything. The only thing that he's really useful for is applying statuses to enemies, but all of his abilities, IMO, all in all, just suck a fat wiener. So he's mainly good for Railjack. He's a huge Railjack gimmick Warframe, and to apply random ass statuses of any single status you want. But I feel like Lavos' kit itself, I thought it was kind of cool at first, but after using it and messing around with it, it's just very boring and lame. So Lavos, you get a D tier because you're a fucking stupid Warframe, but you know what, you're pretty cool in Railjack because it's cooldowns. But yeah, I do not like Lavos' kit. I'm not giving it an F because I think it's good that he can just apply all of the statuses to enemies if needed. Again, literally the only thing he's good for. Not even the damage on any of his abilities and like the stunning or health orbs, universal pickups. No, none of that even matters. No, it's only just the ability to do statuses of any sort. Which is also a bad part about him because it takes even more time to cast and think about like which elements you might need. So all in all, yeah, you get the D, Lavos. You get the D. So the next Warframe we have is Khora. That's right, we got Khora, and she has a pet. Okay, so Khora is actually ridiculously good because of how she's built. You can do a fuck ton of damage with Whip Claw. You can get a bunch of loot with Strangledome, Whip Claw. I mean, it all works together, right? You have your cute pet, which is actually just very useful all in all. And, you know, can't be mad at her. I feel like her least useful ability is Ensnare, okay? That's, I've never really see people use that because I don't know why. Like, why would they if they just want to get everyone captured? I don't know. You're already trying to get everyone into the Strangledome, so I feel like Ensnare just kind of isn't useful for her kit. But I'm also not a huge Khora player. So because of that, She's a great high damage kit with good like loot potential. I will give her a B because her kit just seems always has been kind of lame, right? Just Strangle Dome, you get like a stat stick melee, and then you just whip claw your Strangle Dome. Her kit's pretty meh and lame, but it does good things all in all for what it is. I'm just not a huge Khora player, even though she has hype skin, so yeah, I'll throw you down on the B tier, Khora, sorry. Rabble, rabble, rabble. We'll see people yell about that. Oh god, Ivara Prime. So, I don't like Ivara. I use her mainly for stealthing and capturing. All of her abilities, all in all, are actually pretty dog shit for general Warframe gameplay. So that's why I think I'm going to give Ivara a straight up F tier. I know, you might be thinking like, wait, what the fuck? I honestly think straight up Ivara's kit is just so bad, so useless, and so unfun in regular Warframe that I'm giving her an F tier. Like, all of her kit makes her want to play as a forever stealth, invisible, like Lara Croft like archer, which is, I don't know if you knew this, the worst and least fun way to play Warframe. Being a stealth archer that has sleeping quivers and noise reduction, stuff like that on your abilities, it just doesn't fit into the fun of modern day like horde shooter Warframe. Her kit just fucking sucks for a fun game like Warframe, and it makes no sense. So Ivara just straight up for me gets an F tier as a failed concept of a Warframe. I don't understand what her purpose is other than to use Prowl on the open world so that I don't get bugged. And you know what? I think that's a sad thing that the only use I see for Ivara for a lot of people is open world Prowl usage. So I'm giving her as a failed concept F tier, but she is beautiful. So, I mean, great skin. Oh dear God, we have Inaros. So I'm doing the same with Inaros. I'm just chucking Inaros to fucking F tier. He is just not a fun frame. Low levels, he's fine, but his kit sucks. He's not fun, and he can't do high level content because of how his zero shields full health works. His Scarab Swarm kinda doesn't matter. I've never found huge damage from it or like sweet heals that mattered enough. Sandstorm, straight up not great or useful unless you want to just disrupt some enemies. So yeah. Devour, yeah, that just sucks because the friendly Sand Shadow doesn't do fuck all. It's only really used to heal. And then the first ability, honestly, is probably, now that I think about it, his most useful ability. A blind in front of you that you can lifesteal and do some quick damage? Sure, man. All in all, Inaros gets an F because his kit just is so boring and not fun. It just doesn't do enough. So I think he's a failed concept as well of a Warframe. He was good for like a little bit, but enemies just do damage, and if you do Steel Path, he'll never be a Warframe you'll want to use. So he's an F. He's a fucking awful frame for me. Sorry, Inaros. It is what it is. Next we have, oh yeah, we have Hydroid. Hydroid is also an F tier Warframe. Fuck you, Hydroid. That's right, I'm giving Hydroid an F tier as well, because the entirety of his kit is garbage. Tidal Surge, garbage. It doesn't have any purpose. Undertow, garbage. It's only really there for you to hide. You have Tempest Barrage, which, oh god, garbage. And then you have Tentacle Swarm, which is garbage. The only good thing about Hydroid is once you start to get augment mods, and in my opinion, that makes him a very shit Warframe. None of his abilities do enough damage for it to matter. All of them just seem to be like him pissing in the wind. So I honestly hate Hydroid with a passion. Even Pilfering or Tentacle Swarm with Pilfering Storm or Pilfering Swarm sucks because you have Khora and like Nekros, which can do it better. So I do not think Hydroid is good. He is an F tier frame for me. There's a lot of the F tier frames are like right in this area, huh? Damn. Oh dear God, Hildryn. So I've never played Hildryn other than when I leveled her. Like straight up, have not put any time into her. I'm pretty sure overall she is really good. She is a full like shield frame, so that's her gimmick, right? And I think it works out decently well all in all, but I recall not liking her purely because her kit was just so boring, right? And looking at how it works here, yeah, I think I'm gonna keep that. She seems to be more of a support shield frame, and her gimmick is not a fun one. So I'm not huge up on Hildryn, so I think I'm just gonna give her a D. I'm not gonna give her an F because I'm pretty sure her kit is actually useful and needed if you want, but it's just such a weird gimmick and her kit itself isn't fun. I hate the Balefire. Like, this thing's just fucking lame and useless, so I just don't quite care about her. Her entire existence is just shield gating and over shielding, and that is it. That's literally it. So I don't think I'll ever start playing her. So yeah, I'll just throw her on back into the D tier. Sorry, Hildryn. That is your life. Hildryn, my life, on the D list. Okay, Harrow is a pretty awesome frame. I am not a huge Harrow player though. So Harrow is the religious BDSM frame who just does a bunch of damage to himself, you know, just smacks him in the back, does some penance. All in all, he is a really good Warframe, right? I think his, is it his fourth or his second ability are the best one? Yeah, maybe that. Oh my god, Thurable as well. Yeah, all in all, he is a really good Warframe. He has just very good buffs to do a lot of damage, and it seems to be he is a headshot based Warframe. I didn't actually know that because like I never play Warframe. No, all in all, he looks really good if you like his kit. I'm gonna give him a B though, purely because headshot Warframes are a very specific style of Warframe. Headshot buffs Warframe, you know, not terrible, but in a lot of Warframe, people don't go out of their way to headshot, so I'll give him a B. He has a good frame, good buffs, good passive, you know, it's cool stuff, but all in all, not my style, right? So we'll throw Harrow with the B tier. Oh dear god, we got you boy, Grendel. So Grendel is a Warframe that I will never play. I'm going to throw him down as an F tier Warframe, as a failed concept Warframe as well. I've never seen people play him. His kit seems like it just doesn't mesh well in the general game of Warframe, because if you're using a bunch of abilities, they need to actually be able to do stuff if you're taking away your ability to kill things. So I would say Grendel is also an F tier frame, a failed concept of frame. You can build him memingly and however you truly want, but holy hell am I not gonna fuck with any Grendel. Each enemy consumed grants 50 bonus armor. Yeah, all in all, Grendel bad, would not recommend. Oh my god, Gauss. Gauss is amazing, mainly I believe for red line, because look at all of the buffs on that. Dear god, you do so much damage if you have a maxed out red line. His kit just works really well together to be used all in tandem, right? It's crazy that they release like Gauss and Grendel pretty much at the same time or like back to back, because like one is such a well designed like good Warframe and the other one's like such a poorly designed meme frame. Like, it's good for a meme frame, but it's bad as a Warframe. So yeah, he is all in all amazing, right? Gauss is just great. I will actually give him just straight up, I'll give him an A tier. I wouldn't give him an S tier because a lot of his abilities are kind of goofy in the general frame of things, and they don't work amazingly well because of how most tile sets are. But he definitely is a really strong frame that can do an insane amount of damage. So this boy, without a doubt, he will get that A tier, okay? But just not that S tier. So sad. So next we have Garuda, a Warframe that I don't know if you could tell, I never play. All in all, I think Garuda's really good, but meh, people never really play Garuda she is the blood frame, like that's what her kit's based off of, just bleeding herself and stuff like that. I think she's interesting. I just don't think people use her much. They don't like her, and they just don't find her that useful these days. So purely because I don't have much knowledge of her, I never see people play her, and at this point, I just have kind of a poor opinion about her. I am going to give her just a solid C tier, right? Her kit looks like it could definitely be updated. It doesn't look like it's the worst, but it definitely doesn't look like it's the best, because it looks like it's based around not killing a ton of enemies, but like, yeah, I don't like it. Do not like it. We'll give her a C tier. I'm sorry, Garuda. Maybe if I knew you better, you'd get a B tier, but it's hard to say. Oh god, now we have Gara. So Gara, all in all, is a great frame. I don't think Gara's like an S tier frame or anything like that. No, no, no. The first ability is pretty useless other than to affect your, fourth ability. The fourth ability is really good. You can use it for like any sort of defense style mission. You can use it for a lot of damage multiplication, and you can use it as an AoE damage ability. So the fourth ability is actually very good. Don't get me wrong. Spectrage, I don't care for and I don't like. Splinter Storm, though, is very fucking good as well. So for me, Gara Prime is mostly in the second and fourth ability. So I would say Gara is a good frame. I'm not incredibly familiar with the meta of Gara, but hey, I'll give Gara Prime, or Gara, a solid B tier. Great Warframe, great early game tankiness and everything. Really hard to die for Gara because of Splinter Storm. Just a very useful, well-built frame, but you kind of have to like Gara's kit to care, right? Just because so many of the abilities seem to be like less useful. So yeah, it is what it is, but Gara Prime, I'll give you a B. Oh, Gara. I keep saying Prime because I have the Prime. Yeah. Next we have Frost. Frost also is one of those abilities, or sorry, frames, that suffers from a lack of updates. Snow Globe is just straight up a snow globe that does defense, so it's only a little defense point. I think the best ability that Frost has is the fourth ability because of the armor reduction it has. So I would say you just want to these days build for AoE armor reduction on the fourth ability. Other than that, his abilities suck. Second ability is actually useless. First ability, also useless, but technically it can freeze enemies and slow them down, so that could kind of be helpful. But I'm gonna give Frost a C tier as well. Not a fan. Don't find Frost super great. Could definitely use for a little bit of an update. Excalibur. So as a lot of you may or may not know, I love Excalibur. I love the Exalted Blade gimmick of your boy Excal, but Excal is not ridiculously OP. Javelin, Radial Javelin, all in all is a useless gimmick unless you build specifically towards it. Exalted Blade is what you're always going to have. If you want some arranged, like, AoE melee kind of thing, Exalted Blade's the way to go. Radial Howl is very cool and useful just because of the blind, but you don't actually have to use the ability. You can slash dash for it, right? So that's actually great. Or sorry, slide dash. Slide attack. No. Slash dash is kind of shit though. So slash dash I hate. Radial Javelin I hate. Excal, all in all, not an amazing Warframe, but a very cool frame. I would legitimately give Excal probably like a C at this rate. It's a cool frame. It's a cool frame. It's just not ridiculously overpowered or anything like that. Excal is just a cool frame that has cool sword go swoosh mechanics and like blinds, but his kit all in all is kind of whatever. It's not amazing, okay? So even though I love you boy Excal, that's the rating he gets. Next, we have Equinox. So I'm not a huge Equinox player, but Equinox has so much usability that I think I'm just gonna straight off give her S tier, right? She has so many abilities between her day-night form, and then I think like the mixed form, when she's going both, is a mixture of both of them. You just do so much damage. Look at all that damage vulnerability. Look at that damage multiplier. Energy, strength, power, damage multiplier. Mend and maim. So great. So she's a really good Warframe. He, she, whatever. Does a lot of damage, adds a lot of damage, good AoE for teammates, like buffs and stuff like that. In day form, increased ability strength of nearby allies. Wow. So nice. So honestly, she's just such a useful frame, and there's so many ways you can go about building her or him with like day or night form. So yeah, I'm just gonna straight up give Equinox S tier purely because of that. She's the type of Warframe where I think you just wanna always have all of your buffs active 24/7, and yeah, you just go at it, right? I'm not a huge player of the Equinox though, so maybe one day I will know the truth. Maybe one day, but until then, yeah, Equinox just seems like a really useful, amazing, good buffed frame. Oh god, Ember Prime. So Ember Prime I think was reworked like a year or two ago, and she is pretty cool all in all. The issue with her is, the main thing I'd still use her for is a map-wide Inferno nuke. She's probably really good. Oh yeah, I'm gonna keep her with B tier though. I just don't care about her kit. But like with all the armor reduction, like shredding and like AoE fire, she seems like she'd be pretty good. I just don't care about her. My main use for her is Inferno. Just do a lot of damage. I just don't care for her kit though. But hey, maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm right. I'll end her off in a B tier, okay? Because she is pretty good overall. She's pretty good overall. But let me know what you think on Ember. I need to definitely play her more. Just looking at her abilities, she seems like she'll do high damage, hard to kill, but hey, it's up to you. This one's probably going to piss some people off because I don't play enough Ember, but that's okay. Now we have Chroma Prime. Chroma Prime, Effigy OP. Look at that, Vex armor, OP. All in all, Chroma is actually a really good, useful Warframe who does have a decent enough kit. I think the kit currently has some issues of being a little bit like out of date, especially with like the whole Vex armor thing of having to take damage, but I don't think it actually matters too much. I think that Chroma just does a lot of damage at this point, and then with Effigy is really good. I'm not a huge Chroma player, and I know a lot of people don't really like the kit of Chroma too much though, so I'm gonna have to give Chroma a B because that's a safe place to put the Warframe. But all in all, Chroma is pretty strong, just looking at the abilities. Elemental Ward. I know Spectral Scream is like the least useful ability of his, because let's be real, right? It just is you running around dealing electrical toxin, whatever type of damage you feel like dealing at the time, right? Whatever you cycle it to, so yeah, it's probably the least useful ability on Chroma, so I'll give him a B. Caliban. Right out of the gate, I actually don't care too much about Caliban. I think the kit's like, could be okay all in all, but I just don't like it too much. I'm gonna give him a B still though, because I think Caliban's kit all in all does work decently. His first ability is the most useless though. So if you just ignore that, you look at his abilities and you're like, you know what? Damage, debuff, armor reduction, nice. You have straight up damage vulnerability, yeah, not bad. And then you have like forever shield regenning. So yeah, he seems to be all in all decent enough. So that's why I'll give Caliban a B. I'm just not a huge Caliban player, and I don't care about it too much. Oh god, it's Baruch, the monk that will beat the shit out of you with his fists. So I don't know how to feel about Baruch because I never play him. I know all of the damage is in that sweet exalted hands, but yeah, I just don't know how to actually play him at this point. I just don't care about his abilities though. They all just seem like pretty shit and pretty useless, right? Elude seems fine if you're just not doing anything, but yeah. Really, the only ability seems to be, right, the fact that he has his exalted fists, and those are really strong to be fair. So purely based on that, I'll give him a B tier because yeah, his exalted fists of fury are strong, okay? They do good damage once fully built up. Mine aren't fully built up. This is just a whatever build, but Yeah, you know what? I'll still say that. He is a good Warframe, just not my frame or anything like that. So we are almost done. We are at Banshee Prime. Oh my god. Oh my god. So at this point, I don't use Banshee at all. I think she's mainly buffing debuffs. Let's see. Yeah, Sonar gives huge damage multiplier. So purely based on that, yeah, she is pretty good, right? Her silence is actually good. Her Soundquake, I'm pretty sure is kind of shitty. It just is used to like shake the enemies a bit, but it's not like it's high damage, right? So she is a very weird kit that honestly, I think I'd mainly only give a shit about Sonar. I'm gonna give Banshee a C. I just don't use Banshee. I don't know how to feel about her kit right now. I really don't know how to feel about her kit right now, but I think she's just one of those earlier Warframes that just kind of has an outdated basic as all hell kit where the only really big thing is Sonar to do a lot of damage, but silence is cool if you want not to get attacked, but it's up to you. So she's a cool frame. I will give her a C though. Maybe I would have given her B, but no. I will give her a C. So the next Warframe, straight up Atlas. I'm gonna give Atlas a straight up F tier. His kit is just kind of dumb. Doesn't do a ton of damage, and I don't really see the appeal of your punchy boy. Maybe if his punchy boys, you know, were a lot stronger, you know, petrified enemies take a lot of damage. Yeah, it takes extra damage. I just don't like his kit all that much. His rumblers aren't great in my mind. Petrify just doesn't do a ton of damage, I guess. It's made to like what, petrify and then landslide enemies. That's how you do it. So I don't like his kit of just petrifying enemies and then popping them with his landslide. So I'm just giving him an F for like a boring, lame ass kit. At least you have invulnerability on tectonics, but dude, I just fucking hate Atlas. His kit sucks. Sorry, Atlas, you got an F tier. And last but not least is Ashe Prime. So Ashe is cool. Ashe is cool. I don't care about a lot of his abilities, right? Like teleport, pretty worthless. Blade Storm, pretty cool if you want to build for it. Smoke screen, I mean, like, yeah, that's definitely useful because that kind of goes in tandem with your Blade Storm, but I don't like him too much. His base kit is pretty boring for me. So all in all, I'll give Ashe, like naturally once you get all augments, etc., he's a little better, but I'm gonna give him a C, right? His base kit, it's kind of lame. I don't like his weird gimmick of just stay in your smoke screen, use your Blade Storm on everyone. You don't even need to use Shuriken because it's kind of a waste of energy realistically if you're going that route. But his base kit just kind of sucks. But like everything, anything in Warframe is usable and good, especially once you start getting augment mods, depending on what you feel like building for. So yeah, just it doesn't matter. Build whatever you want, play whatever you want. This was the long ass meme tier list, so don't take it too seriously. Don't take anyone's tier list too seriously. Warframe's a PvE game. Do whatever you want. But that is it for this video. Get wrecked. Ashe is C tier in my mind. So let me know what you think. If your mind is gone, much like mine was for an hour and a half of recording, yeah, well, maybe that's a good thing. Everything, timestamps, and all of that will be in the description, so let me know what you think. This is my first full-on Warframe tier list, and I don't want to do another one, and I didn't want to do this for a while because it's such a pain, but it is done. I'm done. Let me know what you think, and I will see you next time. Peace.